Alright, hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about the third process of the individualized plan, and that's the implementation process. In order to do this, I'm going to kind of use a case study, and we are going to talk about a client that I worked with, and we are going to call her Chloe. Chloe has autism, and Chloe also has OCD, and she does not like to join in a group. So in order to tell you guys how we implemented her program, plan, I'm just gonna use her as my example to explain the implementation process. So you're just gonna have to bear with me as I kind of figure this out and as we go. So for implementing, we are using the skills that we have learned professionally, and we are also using personal skills. The first step to implementing is taking our written plan that we wrote and making it into an action plan. With Chloe, we wrote that we wanted her to join in on groups more often and be a part of the program. She was in a special needs day program, and she just went for the day and then she'd go home. So with her, what we wanted to do was get her involved. She didn't like to join activities. She kind of sat on the outside. And that really wasn't helping her at all. She didn't really do anything. So it was kind of lame. So in order to get her to be involved, we wrote a plan to help her. And this is kind of how we put it into action. This probably isn't going to follow my slides too well, so I'm just going to apologize in advance, but I'm just going to jump ahead. So there is steps that we want to take to implement our plan. The book lays out a few of them, and I'm kind of going to use those to go off of. So the steps that the book gives us is integration into ongoing activities, place in newly organized groups, and schedule for one-on-one sessions. With Chloe, we wanted her to join groups, and she didn't like to join them, so this is where the integrating into ongoing activities worked really well. So we looked at what she liked to do and what she didn't like to do, and if she liked to do something, well, that's where we'd stuck her. We would put her in those groups so she would be more encouraged to join them. Sometimes that didn't always work, but we'll talk about that later. Groups are really awesome because they allow for personal development as well as encouragement from peers. So putting Chloe in a group, we encouraged her as staff as well as the clients would encourage her to join them and to help them. Groups are great because she's also building relationships with those others who are in her program. For one-on-one time, those are awesome because we are able to be flexible and we are also to move at the client's pace. So for Chloe, what we did for one-on-one time is she sat with different staff each day at the end of the day, and she would go over kind of what she liked about the day and what she didn't. And we would also sit with her and do kind of like a task. So she would have a project in front of her and she needed to complete it. And so we were able to work with her on those, which helped her hand-eye coordination and her finger dexterity and stuff like that. One important thing about implementation is that when we are doing this, we need to allow for our client to choose when they want to be involved and when they don't want to be involved, because sometimes it can be overbearing for them. So our job in the implementation process is we need to observe our client as they enter into the program. We need to gather information, give direction and encouragement, and we also really need to monitor our clients. We need to observe them for verbal and nonverbal cues, And not only of our clients, but we also need to watch the caregivers and the coworkers. If there are people who are not wanting to really work with her, then we would put her in a different section with someone who would actually want to work with her. We also need to watch for any behaviors that are going to affect the other participants, and we also needed to watch for her anxiety or stress or anything. We didn't want Chloe to get over agitated or anything and upset other clients, because then that just makes the day harder. In the implementation process, a very important part is documenting and monitoring. So there are 2 examples in our book. The first one is SOAP, which stands for Subject Objective Assessment and Plan, and the second one, DRAP, stands for Date Action Response Plan. So for both of those, they're focused charting, and for that, we really want to be able to allow our client, like, this gives us time to see how our plan is working. If our plan is not working, then there are changes that we need to be made. So documenting helps us do that. Modification. There are many ways that we need to modify. Our plans aren't going to be perfect, and sometimes they're not always going to work. So we need to modify. We need to see if the desired outcome is likely and find a creative approach to fix it. So for a creative approach, we need to, it's finding, creating, and modifying equipment, changing the methods that we are doing, and sometimes we change the rules. For Chloe, I'm going to go back to monitoring, documenting, and add that into our modification. So for Chloe, what we did, we would look at the things that the staff wrote about the day and how she did in the plan and see how that helped her. And when we saw the notes, there were things that we didn't really like, and Chloe wasn't really progressing. So we sat down with the staff, we sat down with her parents and other therapists, and figured out how to fix that. We made modifications. We helped add a sensory room into the program where they could go in and calm down. And we also made ways to fix how Chloe would integrate into the program. There's a quote from the book that I really liked, and I'm just going to read it to you guys real quick. And it's basically, it says, continually asking ourselves if the client and caregiver is satisfied and whether alternative experiences, techniques, and resources can bring about the desired outcome for more effective, to bring out the outcome more effectively and efficiently. So that's kind of how we have to monitor and everything. So that's all the time we have for, and I hope if you guys have any questions, just ask. I can always answer them. Bye.